The second world of the game is the one with the most plants to unlock and should be one of the first and most players are to complete, because some of these plants in this world will help them a lot in other worlds. The plants will be ranked based on use in private seas, other worlds, some cost effectiveness and how well they hold up against similar counterparts. Let's start. At the bottom of the list of the spring bean. My opinion on this plant has been controversial, to say the least. Although back then I didn't really know about its combination with the blover, which can kill virtually every zombie on the map. However, that got patched shortly after the newly renamed arena was introduced, and so it's still at the bottom of the list. Regardless, its effect from private seas, sure indeed to help eliminate single high health zombies. Elsewhere, no, that's what the Char Guard is for. Consider there's no water to bounce zombies into, so you might as well get the knockback effect there. To make matters worse, you've got to protect the numpties and save our seeds. Number 7 is the 3-repeater. On the ancient Egypt list, I compared the repeater's use using 2-piece shooters, and I'd say it's pretty effective to use a repeater. However, that isn't the case here. The high sun costs leave you scrambling to get enough sun just to use them. And yeah, you might as well choose a pea shooter in each lane. It can be handy if planting space is an issue or using a 1-3-5 formation. For the latter, you might as well use something more powerful like the melon bolt. It's decent enough when you get an opinion arts party, but I rarely actually choose to use this plant. Number 6 is the kernel pult. The obvious comparison is to the cabbage pult. While kernel pult is generally weaker, if it flings enough butter it is the better of the two. However, this can't be relied on, and therefore if I find use KPs to their full potential, you should use 2 of them. In private seas it's particularly useful because its butter can kill seagull zombies and zombie parrots in one shot. But even then, blover's probably the better option in that case. Furthermore, it's a pretty bad choice in ancient Egypt and Dark Ages because it may waste butter on the graves. Overall, a good plant early on, but later on it's easily outclassed. 5 is the spike rock. This is a very controversial ranking as it's below the spikeweed, but I'll get onto that later, so stick with me. The plant is nonetheless versatile, working very well as a support plant and for rolling zombies, namely barrel rollers and pianists, as well as the hamster balls in arena. It can also be used to stall a gargantua because it takes 3 smashes. However, it suffers from being cost ineffective if not using it for the aforementioned threats. When both of them are on level 1, it costs 2.5 times as much as the spikeweed, yet it only does twice the damage. Although if gathering stun's not an issue for you, it should be fine, but nonetheless, that's why it places maybe lower than it should do. 4 is the coconut cannon. The hairy old man is introduced via the cannons away stage, and after completing the second one, you unlock it yourself. Although pricey, it can be a good counter to numerous zombies, such as groups of seagull zombies, imp cannons, and many tough zombies like the Far Future machines. I personally find it to be better than the Citron due to its splash damage and manual fire that prevents wasted shots, even if it does have the weaker plant food. Its cooldown time may be detrimental in some cases, but it is often the first manual plant that players unlock, so it's a good gateway plant in a way, though it's not one you should completely ignore later on. 3. The spikeweed. Here we go with one that's 2 places ahead of the spike rock. For just 100 sun and even cheaper as you upgrade it, you can stop rolling zombies in the path, and it's an excellent counter for chickens. Even better than the lightning reed, to be honest, because the chickens are dead as soon as they step on it. It's also good for slow moving zombies and for imp cannons if they don't show up in plankless lanes. Other uses include glitter zombies, prospector zombies and the big bad butts if you're not getting backward firing plants yet. Don't let the zombies trample the flowers levels if the flowers are in the middle of tiles, and easily offence against imps thrown by gargantuas. In short, never underestimate Groucho Marx. 2 is the snapdragon. While this plant isn't that strong on its own, barely killing a regular zombie at level 1, it's one of the strongest conjunction plants in the game. Its range makes it superior over the fat beet and other similar plants, and due to the nature of plankless lanes in the private seas, it particularly shines there. It's also a great support plant for seagull zombies if you're not using blover or if your primary offensive plants aren't yet strong enough. Although it has been one-upped by the cold snapdragon, the OG still beats in terms of plant food power, which is arguably the strongest part about this plant. Of course, when you use entire columns of dragons, not just in the 2nd and 4th lanes, it gets better still. Ranking at the top is the cherry bomb. This is inevitable if you watch my best plants list, and that's because completing this world is the most rewarding thing you can do in the game, even more so than getting the winter melon at the end of Wild West. Killing clusters of zombies in a 3x3 area is always beneficial, even for zombies that survive it like the Gargantua, and its lack of delay that means you can get the best strike every time. Like the Snapdragon, it may be superseded by premium counterparts, but those are premium, let's not forget, and these vids are only for plants you unlock in worlds. Also, the pomegranate is, in my opinion, one of the most pointless plants in the game. Due to its overall versatility, I recommend the players complete this world first. Thanks for watching this video, here's a link to another one in the series, and bye!